Let's go right to Republican Congressional Whip Steve Scalise from the great state of Louisiana. Steve Scalise, it's just too good to be true. On the eve of the election, Biden, who has attacked oil companies, fossil fuel companies for 2 years, now he says they're not producing enough. But the answer is, this is the best part, so because they're not producing enough, let's give them 100%, or Bernie Sanders, a 95% excess profits tax. What do you think of that? As a congressman, as an economic thinker, and from an oil state, isn't this just the greatest idea? Let's tax it?
Larry, look, everywhere I go, and I've been to over 40 congressional districts in the last few weeks, people are fed up with this madness, this far-left socialism, all of this taxing and spending that's raising their prices. The reason people, hard-working families that are living in the real world are paying more is because of all of Joe Biden's actions. He shut down American energy day one, and he said he would crush drilling in America, and he has, and now the price goes through the roof. And his answer is to beg foreign countries like Russia to produce. Why don't we make more here in America? Obviously, you've championed that as well. But they keep spending money. He just signed a $730 billion tax hike. People are paying even more at the grocery store. He's going to double the size of the IRS on small businesses, hardworking families, all under the guise of reducing the inflation. Everybody knows it's malarkey, to use his term. Frankly, I think people are fed up. They're going to vote in record numbers next Tuesday for Republican candidates everywhere from Oregon to Miami to all the way up in Maine, down to Arizona, New Mexico. You're going to see it all across the country. People are going to say, we've had enough of big government socialism. Let's bring some common sense back to Washington.
Steve Scalise, how about H.R. 1? Take the handcuffs off oil and gas production. Now, this is a Kudlow makeup thing. I've been pushing this H.R. 1, S1. I know I'm ahead of the curve, but I'm just saying, you're going to win, but you're going to have a high inflation recession scenario. You're going to have an economic crisis. And oil and gas, fossil fuels affects, you know, we've been talking about, it permeates the economy, like 150 different items. Why not just go right there, get some permitting reform, get some refinery and pipelining reform, if such a thing is possible?
Yeah, and Larry, you've been on the front end of this for a long time. I know the answer to a lot of our problems is unleashing American energy, unleashing American opportunity and entrepreneurship. I mean, they are attacking everything that is great about free market capitalism, the ability for people to choose and control their own destiny. But if you look at energy, you want to lower costs, lower energy costs. Let us produce more in America. Again, if you're worried about the planet, they talk about global warming and the Green New Deal, and yet they're begging countries that emit more carbon to produce while they're shutting down the cleanest country in the world. These people love beating up America, Larry. They wake up every day trying to find out what they can attack about America, instead of recognizing we are the best country in the world, one of the most innovative, but also we're the cleanest. If you want to use fossil fuels, which we're going to for decades, don't get it from Russia or from Venezuela or Iran. Get it from America. We could produce enough for ourselves and our friends all around the world, and at a lower cost for families and lower carbon emissions. That makes all the sense in the world. It needs to be one of the first things we do. And we're running on this, too. This is in our commitment to America, to have a strong national energy policy to help those hardworking families who are fed up with Biden's tax hikes, all of Biden's high prices at the pump. They're done with it. And all the people that have been voting with them 100% of the time. Most Democrats right now that are running for re-election have voted with Biden 100% of the time to create this mess. We're going to come in and start bringing bills to fix it.
I mean, it's just, I hate to kick a dead horse, but I mean, oil and gas, fossils affect everyday life, Steve Scalise. You know, we talk about this. Phones, clothes, toothpaste, you know, diapers, pacifiers, toys, hearing aids, prosthetics, golf bags,
charging your electric car. You don't plug your electric car into a tree.
There's one. I should have put that in.
You can't drive fossil fuel cars, but oh, by the way, you can't plug your car in at night because their electric grid is so unstable because they've gotten away from stable fossil fuels and nuclear energy. This is madness. It's madness. People understand it. The White House doesn't get it. Everywhere else in America, they do.
And you hear reports, I don't know if it's entirely true, but in terms of diesel fuel, there's only a couple of weeks of inventory. Diesel.
Yeah,
so what are the trucks going to do?
Diesel are coming.
And what are the supply? What are the supply line? What are the supply chains going to do
Yeah, our
if we run
supply
out of
chain
diesel?
is already messed up enough. It's already messed up enough because of Biden's agenda. And now it's going to be an even bigger problem with diesel. Diesel prices are usually higher than gasoline prices, too. So, again, you wonder why you're paying more for things at the grocery store. Part of that is the high price of energy that Joe Biden got. He got his way. Joe Biden ran as a candidate saying, I'm going to, no more drilling offshore, no more drilling onshore, no more drilling, period. Joe Biden said that. Then he put policies in place to do it. Then, shocking, the price goes up. And then he looks around and tries to blame everybody else except himself. People know this. People know, Biden, you did it. Now live with the consequences or fix it. Work with us to fix it, but he won't. And so I think a Republican majority coming in is going to be a ray of sunshine. Hopefully Biden will start working with us, but we're going to pass bills to lower energy costs. We're going to pass bills to secure the border through the House. We're going to deal with these problems in the House. Hopefully we get a Republican Senate, and maybe then Biden will see the light and say, hey, maybe I'll work with those Republicans to fix the problems that he and his big government socialist friends created.
Well, that was really kind of my next question, Steve. You have a Republican House, you have a Republican Senate. I know that, polls aren't votes, but it looks awfully good. Will Joe Biden reset? Will he try to work with you? Will he try to work with Kevin, right? Will he try to work with the Senate leaders? I mean, that's a big question. People in the stock market are asking that question. I think ordinary Americans, common sense people who want these costs to come down and want crime to come down and want the border to be closed, that's a question they're going to ask. Will Biden listen to the will of the voters?
Well, I hope he does. We're going to give him that opportunity, Larry. We're going to pass bills. And look, we're running on this agenda, the commitment to America, to address these problems. And we've showed the country we will bring bills to lower energy costs, to produce more in America, to secure our border. And if we get elected, to address crime in communities all throughout America. And if we get elected, Biden's got to decide. I remember having this conversation with Newt Gingrich when we were putting our commitment to America together. I said, when y'all passed the contract with America, Bill Clinton ignored you until you won the majority. Then he had to work with you. He didn't like a lot of those ideas, but ultimately he worked with Republicans to get welfare reform, to balance the budget, to embrace those conservative ideas that worked. And that helped Bill Clinton get reelected. But I don't know if this president has the autonomy to work with us. We hear about some of the people behind the scenes that are making a lot of the big decisions. Will they allow Joe Biden to work with us on these ideas and put his partisanship aside and say, you know what? The voters spoke. The voters said we're done with big government socialism. Work with Republicans to fix these problems and get our economy moving again, get the country back on track. Time will tell. We're going to give him that opportunity. Will he sign or veto those bills? I hope he'll sign the bills. It would be good for America. And it would be good for him, by the way. But that's a decision for him to make. And we'll see if he can make those decisions.
All right. Steve Scalise, we thank you for your time. We know you're busy. Good luck on the campaign trail, sir. Appreciate it.
Always great being with you.
All right.